So today's topic is catering, basically the food and drinks at your wedding. The first thing that I want to say is that obviously I'm speaking from my own experience, and everything that I have kind of researched and thought about is included in this video. If there's anything else that you'd like to know or you want to suggest something, I really welcome all of your suggestions. So the first thing to consider is there are different ways that we can eat. For instance, we can sit down and have the meal as the proper sit-down meal, and it can be served. Or we can have a sit-down meal and we can go to a finger food style buffet. So it's just about having like a snack. And we can also have a sit-down meal and we can just go and grab some food from like a cart, like a street food style. So what would you like to do? What kind of meal would you like to serve your guests? The thing to consider is also the actual type of food, meaning if you'd like to include meat, or maybe you would like the meal and all the foods and drinks to be vegan or maybe vegetarian. So, think about yourself and what you would like to eat, and then think if your guests would be willing to have that as well. Because for one day, everyone can have vegetarian food or vegan food as long as it's good enough, right? The third thing to consider, would you like to make or organize the food, or would someone else do it for you? So would you like a catering company or maybe a restaurant or a cafe to make your food? So there are all kinds of options when it comes to the actual getting the food in. So you yourself can cook even if you like. However, the thing to consider here is the number of guests. So if you have, let's say, 10, maximum 20 people at your wedding, then if you like, you can cook. And I think it is pretty doable. However, if you have 80 people or 150 or more, then obviously that becomes more challenging. So we ourselves have around 80 people at our wedding, and we are going to have a catering company that I'll speak about at the end of the video. So really, there are a lot of options here. And if you decide to make or organize your own food, then also consider if there is somebody, for instance, accepting the food when it arrives, if you order a takeaway or if you order the food from a restaurant or a cafe. So who organizes the food? Who manages the plates? Who puts out the food on the tables? Because, it's easy to think that, oh, it'll be just fine, or people will organize themselves. Actually, it's not the greatest idea from my experience to have people organize themselves. I find that it is best to have a person who would manage things a little bit, who direct things, somebody from your guests or your family to be the designated person to organize the meal if it arrives from outside. So you have to let them know before, obviously, that would be their role. And don't have just one person doing everything in your wedding. Really spread the responsibilities. So for instance, have one person accepting the food and another putting it out, and another or two more cleaning up afterwards if you yourself organize the catering. When you yourself make or organize your own food, you also have to think about the logistics. So it's not only about the food itself, it's also about the plates and the cutlery and the glasses. So do you have them from your home? Do you use everything that you have at home, or do you get some one-time use ones? Obviously not the most environment friendly, but sometimes that's the only option. Do you then wash all of your cutlery and crockery and the glasses, or do you just put them away and take care of it another time? So really there are lots of things to kind of think about when you decide for, first of all, the type of food, as in how you organize the food, and also whether you make it or order it in, or a catering company takes care of things. The fourth thing to consider is drinks. I am in Scotland, so our wedding is in Scotland. If I tell anybody that my wedding is alcohol-free, I don't think we would have many guests coming. So in Scotland, it is not very common to have alcohol-free weddings. In fact, I never heard of one. But wherever you are, if that's the thing, and if that is your preference, for instance, you're alcohol-free, then why not just go for it? And then you just have to find extra entertainment for the guests who really need a drink in order to start having fun. But another thing to think about is, water and juice. So all the non-alcoholic drinks. So for instance, if it is a hot day, you have to think about having enough supply of water and juice and also ice, or you would need a place to store the drinks somewhere in a cold place, like a fridge or a basement or anywhere that you can think of that can keep the drinks cool, so that people can cool down when they drink. Obviously, if you're organizing your wedding in winter, then it's another thing. But if you are indoors, then still the place would be heated. So many people, even in winter, want to drink iced drinks. So that is a big part of kind of wedding planning, to think about all the little details when you choose an option. So when you organize the drinks yourself, there is all those little things. That includes you yourself buying the alcohol and thinking about somebody who can actually serve it. Or do you decide that there is a place and people just go and help themselves? In Scotland, I have heard this phrase, BYOB. What does it mean? Bring your own booze. So if you decide for a wedding where you only want to serve water and juice, and for whatever reasons, financial or not financial, you decide not to have alcohol at your wedding or not to serve alcohol yourself, what you can do is say to the people, please bring your own booze. Please bring your own alcoholic drinks. And when they do, you need to store these drinks somewhere. All of these drinks have to go somewhere so that people then can go and serve themselves, and also keep the drinks cool, because hardly anyone likes a warm beer, I think. When you go with a catering company, at least the company that we have found, they provide a bar service most of the time. So the idea is that they bring their own space, their own arrangement, and their own alcohol, and they take care of the serving of the alcohol during the whole celebrations. Do you pay for the drinks at the bar? Or maybe you pay for the first 2 drinks, or maybe you don't pay for anything and people just need to pay for their own drinks. Whatever they drink, they pay. What we have decided to do is to have the bar that is from the catering company, so they will take care of everything and we don't pay for the alcohol served. So basically the guests will have to get their own alcohol, their own drinks, just like they would in a bar. However, we have decided to have a complimentary bottle or even 2 bottles of wine per table during dinner time, so that, you know, we offer some drinks, some alcohol, and we consider that to be enough. But if somebody would like more, they can always go to the bar. One thing that I want to add to actually storing your own alcohol or the alcohol that people bring with them is the use of your kitchen. So would you be willing to open your kitchen to people so that they can manage things themselves? Or again, would there be a person, like a hired bartender, for instance, who would manage the serving of the drinks? So, as I mentioned before, our wedding is actually at our home, but it is an outdoor wedding in our garden, in the land that we have available. But it's not everybody's situation, so please just decide what would work best for you. We have decided to have our kitchen completely closed. That is why we have the bar and the catering company at our marquee, so everything is in one place, and this is also where the dinner is served. Anyway, I'll tell you about our arrangements at the end of the video. The 5th and final thing to consider is how much food you would like to serve. So I know of weddings. I'm not sure how it is where you are, but I've been only to a few weddings in Scotland, actually throughout my life, only a few. And they are very contrasting because I myself am from Poland. And in Poland, a wedding means lots of food and lots of drinks for free. Absolutely free. In Scotland, a wedding can mean different things. I have been to a wedding where there was like a little snack served, kind of like rolls, and that was all the food that was served. And then the bar was there just available to buy drinks. So this was the first Scottish wedding I've been to, and to be honest, I was a little bit shocked because of the contrast with the Polish weddings. However, it works, and it's also kind of financially feasible when you do it this way. When we consider food, would you like to just have the one meal or one main meal and that's it? Or if your wedding day goes on for a longer time and it goes into the night, would you consider to have like an evening meal or at least a snack? Would you consider to have canapes with the drinks at, or well, during the welcome of the guests, or at the drinks reception? Or would you just organize your own snacks, which is also possible? Or would you just have no food at all? And now what we have decided to do. We decided that first and foremost, we'll have the canapes served at the drinks reception, which is after the wedding ceremony. The idea here is that at the wedding ceremony, everyone will have a glass of champagne. So people might get dizzy already just from the one glass, especially if they did not manage to eat that day. We have decided to have the canapés served with the drinks at the drinks reception. And I thought of having an extra table with a bit of finger food. So like little cakes or maybe some fruit, maybe some crisps or some savory snacks, so that people can pick on that as well. In case somebody doesn't like the canapés, and I must say, I myself am not a huge fan. Also depends how they are made or what kind. But you can have something to pick on during the drinks reception. That we thought will put something in our guests' stomachs so that they don't get absolutely wasted in the British terms, and that they can continue to enjoy the party till midnight, more or less. We have decided to then have a meal. So we are having a catering company, and that meal will be served. So the manager of the company actually explained to us that what they will do, instead of us having to write a menu and like people taking orders, like the waiters taking orders, what the waiters will do, they will just go around with the two options. So for instance, for the main meal, there are two options, and they will go around and whatever guests like the look of one dish or the other, this is the one they will get. So I think it's great to see your own food and choose by that. It will be a proper sit-down meal, so the meal will be served, every part of it, and coffee at the end is included as well. The drinks, as I mentioned before, will be served as in they will already be at the table, the 2 bottles of wine, or however many we decide, and people can just help themselves, or the waiters help them. I'm not sure exactly how that's gonna work. We haven't spoken about the super details yet because we still have some time, almost 11 months till the date. And okay, so what happens after the meal? We'll have like a bit of different activities, and then we have decided to have an extra evening meal, but it is not a sit-down one. It is actually kind of like a street food type of meal, and we'll have a curry, a vegetarian one. So yeah, that's another thing. All of our menu will be vegetarian, and that's because me and my partner Tony are vegetarians, and we've decided that vegetarian food is good enough, and people can totally live just half a day on pure vegetarian food. Absolutely fine with everyone, I'm sure. The final thing I want to mention is that our catering company is actually kind of managing the flow of the day a little. So for now, we don't have a wedding coordinator or wedding day coordinator, mostly due to financial reasons. They are not cheap, I must say, and I haven't really researched them a lot. It's just that we have so many expenses, as you might imagine, if you're organizing your own wedding for like around 80 people, 80 to 100, and you have to provide everything because it's, on your own grounds, let's say, then there are a lot of expenses. So for now, we have decided not to go for any wedding day coordinator even. But the good thing is that our catering company is kind of calling the different parts of the day. So because they manage the food and the drinks, it's already quite some part of the day. It's a big part because there will be a few moments of drinks only or food only or both. And so they offer this kind of a semi-management service, and it's actually included in the package, which we thought was great. I can't tell you yet how they are performing, but they have great reviews. They are based in Glasgow area, and if you like their details, their name is Top Class Catering. Top Class Catering. And you can check out their website. Maybe I'll even post the link down below. But I don't have any commission from, spreading the word about them. I'm just sharing with you about what company or what options regarding food and drinks we go for. And I hope that this has been helpful. And if you have any suggestions or any questions, please, by all means, ask me and comment. And also please like this video and subscribe to my channel so we can even share the different ideas and have our wedding adventures together. Thank you for all of your attention throughout this video, and I shall speak to you soon. Bye for now.